Hello, Restless Viking fans. I am here at the Leelanau School in Glen Arbor, Michigan, and I'm here for a week-long family reunion. And that reunion is thanks to Poppin's maternal side. And I'll say that again, a week-long family reunion. How many is it, Poppins?
There's about 150 people here, and look at these glasses.
We're having the evening bingo game.
G56.
So I gotta get out of here. So I'm gonna go on an adventure tomorrow, and you all can join us.
I married into this family, so.
Why did you do that? I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
And I'm Sabia.
And the channel's Restless Viking. Let's go on an adventure. And I'll tell you, I really need this break from this family reunion. We've been here since Sunday. It is now Monday evening. $6 a.m. I'm gonna go place the kayak and then head to the biking spot. So step one is a 1/4 mile hike with the kayak. We're staging it at North Bar Lake, the south end of Sleeping Bear Dunes. And we'll just lock it to a tree and head up to start our biking leg. So at the north end of the dunes is a place called Glen Haven, which is where we're going to start biking. Glen Haven's an interesting place. It was a town, and I don't remember the year, but in the mid to late 1800s. And its purpose was to supply firewood to all the steamers that came by from Chicago to Buffalo. And they built a huge pier that used to extend way out there. Now you can't see any today. They used to be above the water about 20 years ago, and you could see former pylons that they had. There's a big dock right there. Now it's just a sandy beach. And then there was the canning company, and the canning company's purpose was to can cherries to ship around the world, and they shipped them out on that wharf. And then there was a fancy inn built in 1857, so looks like, and it used to be kind of a fancy place. And then this is the town of Glen Haven. And there's the general store. And this road right here, which goes down that way over to there, it's about 3 football fields long. At one time was the shortest state highway in Michigan, but the county took it over and it's not a state highway anymore. And then that red building over there is actually the blacksmith shop, which was built in the 1850s. That's the original building. And the National Park Service has local volunteers come in and do some blacksmithing in the shop, and it's kind of interesting. Good morning. So right now I'm heading on the Sleeping Bear Dunes Heritage Trail on the Trike, and we're gonna head down to a place called North Bar Lake where the kayak's been staged, and then we'll head out from there, and then we'll paddle around Sleeping Bear Dunes. It was really calm this morning, but now it's kind of windy, but I think the dunes will block the wind from getting to us. I'm not sure, we'll see. So Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore got its start when the Park Service and I guess Congress got together and said, hey, the Lake Michigan coast is kind of like our third coast. There's the East Coast with Cape Hatteras, and I don't know the protected part of the West Coast, but they said we need, in the 70s, they said we need to protect some of the coast in the Great Lakes, and so Sleeping Bear Dunes was born. And the Heritage Trail, the trail that I'm currently riding on, is kind of a new addition. It's kind of a nice little trail. A little bit of a road ride from the Heritage Trail to North Bar Lake, so we should be there momentarily, just a couple miles to go. There's a bike rack down here. I'll put it there, but then I gotta go get the locks and the cables from the kayak. Well, I stashed my paddle pretty good. Oh, there it is. Way out there is South Manitou Island, and we're gonna go that way to Sleeping Bear Point, kind of around there and about 5 miles up or so. So let's start paddling. So that up there that looks like a derelict castle is Pierce Stocking Drive, I think. That's the lookout tower. You can see how these people trying to climb back up the dune. I guess it was a good idea at the time, but there's not a lot of movement. There's just kind of a lot of bent over stopness. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, the start of Sleeping Bear Dunes. You know, most of the time when I kayak, no matter what the weather says, no matter what route I take, if I hit the open water, I'm always going in the opposite direction of the wind. Almost always. I would say I have a 2% chance of going with the wind. And today is the day that I'm pretty much going with the wind. And it's pretty nice. So, wow, I feel honored. Seagulls are kind of like coming out to inspect. Winged rats. So the glaciers brought Sleeping Bear Dunes here. They just kind of dumped some glacial rocks there, and then the sand kind of came off from the water and all the grinding and everything that it did, and kind of went on top, and it trapped the sand onto that big pile of rocks underneath. And then it erodes and the sand comes down to the lake, but then the wind pushes it back up. And those are called perched dunes. So it's gonna be there a while because it's got that layer of rocks underneath it, and the wind just keeps pushing it back up there to make sure it stays. So we just got through a rough patch. I don't know, 1 footers, 2 footers, no big deal. Winds are probably 15 knots. So the waves were starting to build into the afternoon, but we're just about around Sleeping Bear Point, which is right behind me. So we get to this side, we're gonna get some shelter, and then it's about a mile to Glen Haven, kind of our final destination. So I do believe that this sandy rocky point is roped off because of piping plovers. It's an interesting comeback story, although it's not done yet. Piping plovers were almost gone. I guess they had one nesting pair in this part of the country, and they like to nest on beaches like that. and they became protected, so they protected a few of these beaches. There's a big one out by North Manitou. So we might be about 3/4 of a mile from Glen Haven. This is the piping plover area that's been protected. So yeah, they're just little guys. Look at that. Size of a thumb. You can barely see the cage over there. But they've had quite a comeback. They put a lot of work into this every year in these nesting areas. 'Tis a beautiful day to be out here paddling around. I swear I put some water. Oh yeah, there we go. Thanks for the water, Poppins. Don't tell Poppins I forgot sunscreen. She'll be like rolling her eyes at me and stuff. So that is the old Coast Guard life-saving station. But Glen Haven's actually over there. And then right out here used to be a big dock that would come out, all made of timber. We'll paddle up there and see if we can still see some of the pylons under the water. And here are the pylons. There's a lot more people here from this morning, eh? Anyway, finished here at the Tug Aloha. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good little break from the family reunion. My name's Chuck, the channel's Restless Viking. We'll see you for the next adventure.